Somebody's turning into a creepy stalker for publicity. The calligraphy's back, folks. Look at this. Dear Amanda, I heard you were feeling scared. Don't be. This is the fun part. Let's enjoy it. As ever, creepy Meghan. According to Taz Royal YouTube sensation, Tasha Canal with me now. Tash, tell me the whole story. Who is this note to? Why she done this? And do we really believe it?
Dan. Well, the lady she's written the letter to is a podcaster called Amanda Hirsch. And she is a celebrity podcaster. And I hadn't heard of her personally because it's not the sort of thing I listen to, but I noticed the sort of people that she has interviewed, big name stars, Ryan Reynolds, Kristen Stewart.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
So the Blake Lively connection again.
Kim Kardashian. And what do those three people all have in common, Dan? Well, they are all signed by WME. So
she's a plant. This is a plant.
Pardon?
She's a plant, this woman.
Of course it is. It's been designed to be clapback because of the Vanity Fair article, because of the Hollywood Reporter, because she's had so much backlash that she's a really nasty person. And I'm sorry, the fact that this woman interviews a lot of people from WME, Meghan is still reportedly signed with WME. I don't think that this was just a nice thing that she's done. She's just trying to change her image and obviously appeal to a different fan base, because Amanda then said, oh, I'm now a fan for life, which of course in turn is trying to get other people to then like Meghan. This is all just one big storyline that she's trying to peddle at the moment. Look how lovely I am. Look how likable I am. I send out beautiful handwritten notes, and it's creepy. It was creepy.
And by the way, I don't even like the handwriting. Can I just say it's really difficult to read and it's pretty basic as far as I am concerned. Now, can I show you the video that the podcaster put up to do with this? Proving, by the way, that it's all PR. Because what's so interesting, Tash, is the envelope that she shows has no address. So Meghan didn't just put this in the post, did she? That this was set up via one of those connections for PR purposes, because also this podcaster who's all about being in with the celebrities was never going to post it without Meghan's permission anyway. But look at the series of Instagram posts she has made.
Guys, I just got a letter. And I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Started thinking what it could be. Any guesses?
And then, there you go. The little before. So sweet. What a surprise. And of course, Meghan now has a fan for life, Tash.
Of course.
Are you buying it?
Of course. I'm not buying it at all. I'm really not. I just think that there is a lot of desperate people out there that are backed the wrong horse, and the credibility of Meghan after Vanity Fair and obviously the Hollywood Reporter, she's desperately scrambling to try and change the narrative, and it's too little, too late, and no amount of podcasters are going to be able to dig her out of the hole that she's already in.
Let's look at some other reaction to this, Tash. Nancy Sidley of Twin Talks posted, "This is literally a note a serial killer sends to the detectives looking for them." Marie posted, "Oh God, so cringe. And after all she said and done, the M with the crown is absolutely ridiculous." Tash, this made me so angry too. In fact, I'm going to share your tweet before you go into it because you were so perfect on this. You said, "The royal family and being a working royal nearly crushed her soul. It was the worst experience of her life, which was barely survivable. She had everything stripped from her, including her identity and passport. But here she is, still using her royal monogram with a crown. It's spreading a harmful narrative." God, Tash. Isn't she shameless?
She is shameless, but this is deliberate again. This is exactly the same as the waffles looking like Queen Elizabeth. She knows using that crown, using that monogram, doing that, it's going to invoke rage in monarchists and royal supporters, because they're going to be like, how dare she, after everything that she did to Queen Elizabeth II, how she made her final months really and final years absolutely awful, with the hurts and the damage that they tried to cause to everything that she'd spent her life building up. And here she is, still using the title, still using the royal monogram. She does it on purpose, Dan, so people like you and I get riled up, we have a rant about it, and then Meghan can go, I'm still being victimized. They just won't leave me alone. Look, I had to flee for my life from the UK, but I'm still being targeted by the crazy royal fans. She is deliberately poking people to get a reaction.
She really is. She really is. And that's why we have to call it out. The other thing that you pointed out, Tash, though, is that if she was genuinely a nice and sweet and kind person, she wouldn't have done what she did to her father, the Queen, Prince Philip, Catherine, all the staff that she's bullied. You say it's a facade. She's only nice to other women when she can get something out of them. And in this case, it's publicity and hopefully some new fans from Amanda's own fan base. And that's the point, isn't it? We're not buying this. I mean, look at these new pictures she posted today, Tash, laughing uncontrollably. But when you actually zoom in on the face, I've never seen more of a fake laugh. So we're not buying into it. She might be getting the coverage that she wants. She might be getting the publicity she wants, but actually no one's liking her as a result of all of this.
I hadn't seen those pictures yet, Dan. That honestly, that was a real-time reaction from me there. Wow. She looks absolutely off her rocker. Nobody laughs like that. And the fact that you can see Kelly, her friend, in the background, it's obviously mildly amusing, but Meghan, it's the most hysterical thing that she's ever heard. She's so super fun and she's so funny, and she writes in fake calligraphy, which means that she's lovely. And everything about her is just so unbelievably contrived and fake. And yes, I do stand by what I said. If anybody is to believe that she is this nice and kind and sweet person, then they have to completely overlook the way she's treated so many people, friends and her own family, people that supported her throughout her entire life. And then obviously Harry's family, all of the people. It's not just Harry's family, it's all of the staff, all of the people that were there to make Meghan's life easier. And in return, all she did was make their lives miserable. And she has continued this pattern of behavior, even though she's left the royal fold. This is how she treats people that she worked with on Spotify. It was the Spotify staff that said that they had to be checked into long-term therapy. They're not even her own staff. Basically, Meghan, if she thinks that you are beneath her or no use to her, then she will treat you absolutely appallingly. But if you are rich and influential, then you are definitely going to be getting lots of harvest baskets, homemade candles, and some chicken scratch handwritten notes.
Which leads us perfectly, Tash, on to Ted Sarandos, the co-chief executive of Netflix. Now, this is a man who Meghan has been, how do I put it? Wooing for a very long time. Love bombing. Yeah, and also actually really cynically using the fact that he has a mixed race wife, taking them to the Beyonce concerts. Really, she knows Netflix is her last ditch bid of success. And even though Spotify dumped her, calling her an FN grifter, at this point, against all odds, Netflix are holding firm. And Ted Sarandos has done a major interview overnight with Variety, and this is the first time he has been directly asked about Meghan Markle since the launch of As Ever, which has just been a disaster. And he's pretty positive. So let me show you the two key questions about this. And remember, Variety's very soft. They're never going to push him that hard. It's a Hollywood magazine. But they say to Ted Sarandos, you just launched Meghan Markle's lifestyle series with Love Meghan, and you have a stake in her As Ever business. You are making and distributing physical products From edible flowers to baking mixes, is Netflix interested in e-commerce? He replies, we're a passive partner in Meghan's company, and it's a big discovery model for us right now. Variety asks, why was she the right person to bet on? Ted Sarandos replies, I think Meghan is underestimated in terms of her influence on culture. When we dropped the trailer for the Harry and Meghan doc-series in 2022, everything on screen was dissected in the press for days. The shoes she was wearing sold out all over the world. The Hermes blanket that was on the chair behind her sold out everywhere in the world. People are fascinated with Meghan Markle. She and Harry are overly dismissed. Now, look, I don't think either of us can deny, Tash, there is definitely a fascination. But what's very interesting to me is that any time Ted Sarandos is asked about Harry and Meghan, he only refers back to Harry and Meghan in 2022. And a hell of a lot has changed since then, Tash, especially in the US. Like, the reaction to With Love was totally different in the US to the reaction to Harry and Meghan, because people have now seen through their shtick. And I think the jury is very much out as to whether people are prepared to buy products, buy edible flowers from someone who they despise.
Yes, I mean, the change from Harry and Meghan, obviously, when Netflix aired, the Queen had not long passed, and it absolutely horrified people. The fact that they must have known that the Queen was very unwell. We later found out she had bone cancer. Then you've got the fact that Prince Philip, her rock of 70 years, had died. And they filmed Netflix knowing all of this, knowing that they were going to attack the Queen's Commonwealth legacy. They knew exactly what they were doing when they did that, and giggled just like they did at the end of Oprah. And it caused a lot of backlash, even people that were sympathetic to them when they first moved, because they believed the initial horror stories that they told on Oprah. But then within a matter of days, people started fact checking. There were things that weren't adding up. And then obviously we then had Netflix, and there were things they said on Netflix which didn't marry up to Oprah. Spare didn't match Netflix or Oprah. And they've lost so much credibility. It's obvious that they have no issues with bending the truth, changing the narrative, rewriting history. So their credibility is down the pan. And so for them now to be trying to peddle themselves as lovely, kind people, a lot of people are not buying what they are selling, including those dead flowers.
Those damn dead flowers. And of course,
Everywhere.
I know, everywhere, just absolutely rolled it. And of course, Tash, and I want to show you this actually. Marina Hyde, who, I mean, I can't stand the woman. She's absolutely awful. She's a lefty, totally vile, very rude about me, lies about me all the time. So this is not a woman that you could usually trust. However, she is very connected in entertainment circles. She's the co-host of the Rest is Entertainment podcast alongside Richard Osmond. And she put out this idea that has been circulating for a long time, that actually the only reason that Netflix are really standing by her is a bit like the book, the divorce book, which is being pitched, is that they want the post-divorce Meghan series. So actually, they'll keep their hand in while they're waiting for that. Let's have a look at what she said, and I'll get your reaction off the back. But first, this episode of Outspoken is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. After so many shaving mishaps in my past, let's not even go there. Let me tell you that Manscaped has improved my grooming routine no end, actually my confidence with it too. What makes the Chairman Pro stand out, though, is its versatility and precision. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. So there's the 4-blade foil. That gives you a close shave if you're looking to go completely clean. Or if, like me, you like a bit of stubble, but you want it to look sharp and polished, you switch to the skin-safe stubble trimmer. Don't worry though, both are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation so your skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. Now, a standout feature that truly differentiates the Chairman Pro from the rest is the Flex Adjust technology. It innovates to ensure a superior shave by allowing both blades and the pivoting head to seamlessly adapt to the unique contours of your face. Is gentle on the neck area too, let me tell you. And if you want even more precision on the right side of the bracket, there's a precision lock. When you lock it, the blade head sits firm so you can achieve a more precise shave. It's also waterproof, which means that you can clean up with a quick rinse under the sink. Get the Chairman Pro today. Experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Head on over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, including me. And check this out. If you use the code OUTSPOKEN, you will get free shipping anywhere in the world and 20% off. That's manscaped.com using the code OUTSPOKEN for free shipping and a whopping 20% on your entire order. But now, back to the show.
Have to say, and this is the reality, is that a lot of people are hanging around in case there's a divorce, because then they will definitely, and that might be Netflix or whoever it might be who's got to deal with them, might keep a vague hand in. I know
that might be the bleakest thing I've ever heard.
I'm sorry to say, but it is.
I've heard some bleak things on this podcast. I mean, we were talking about Leni Riefenstahl only minutes ago.
I know.
And now look at us in the abyss.
Yeah, well, that is the abyss.
The abyss is staring back.
It's difficult to know now. I mean, they got a big chunk. Don't forget, they got £20 million from Spotify for that Archetypes podcast, which nobody listened to and was just like, I don't know how many, there was something like 12 or maximum 20 episodes.
So, Tash, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? Given Ted Sarandos is going to know, the post-divorce book has already been pitched. Sort of makes sense. And actually, given Netflix has so much money, and actually sometimes more money than sense, keeping With Love Meghan rolling on isn't going to cost a lot of money, because the deal is never going to be worth anything like 100 mil, the next one. And actually, then he just waits, and he just waits for the inevitable end of the marriage whenever it may come.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, it's obvious that he's trying to save face, the amount of backlash that has been because of this show. And it's not going to cost them any more money, because whilst they try to spin it that, oh, they've got season 2, Meghan's show was so fantastic, people have loved it, Netflix have agreed to sign off on a second season. It was already filmed at the same time. There were 16 parts. They've paid for the film studio. They've paid for the editing. They've paid for everything. It's just now sitting there. And I'd imagine they're probably trying to edit little bits and bobs going from the backlash that the first 8 episodes have received. Perhaps Meghan will be doing a lot of extra voice recording that she tried to do with Archetypes to try and make it seem a little bit better. Maybe they're going to get her to record her voice and actually pretend she's asking her guests things about their life. It's pretty obvious that the whole deal has been a very, very expensive mistake for Netflix. They're never going to admit that. But much like Oprah was hanging around in the wings, that's why she got a wedding invite, because I personally believe that Harry and Meghan were always going to do Megxit. Oprah, she came to the wedding, the deal was signed then. It was just a case of a matter of time. They were biding their time. Meghan obviously then had Archie. You've got the golden egg. They sealed the deal and then they were off, and Oprah got that. So of course, it makes business sense from that perspective that Netflix will be hanging around, keep her just a little bit sweet, a little bit nice, because the inevitable divorce will be a huge, huge payout for many people that stream any of the interviews, people that agree to, they'll be scrambling over themselves to get the divorce book, even though we know that I would say 99% of it will be completely fictional, but it will be the biggest earner that Meghan has ever had in her life, without a doubt. And Netflix just want a slice.
In the meantime, Tash, there has been quite a dramatic turnaround in lots of parts of the liberal media. I mean, we've focused for the past 2 weeks on the way that all of the left-wing publications from The Cut, The Guardian, even the San Francisco Chronicle have completely roasted with Love Meghan. But now that roasting has also moved to the US late night shows. And this is a surprise, actually. I mean, the Mail headline, for example, says Meghan has been mercilessly mocked by the late night host. And it is a real change. As Queer Lips of Truth pointed out, Hollywood is weird. About a year or so ago, this same late night show host entertained and was nice to Prince Harry. Last night, he roasted Meghan Markle and her show like fried duck. The hysterics from the audience alone can sentence one to perpetual kitchen sobbing. And so I guess the fact is, Tash, they have now lost late night too. That is significant. It's like the dominoes are all falling. Late night in America is very woke on the main broadcast channels. However, they're no longer viewing Harry and Meghan as a protected species, which they did for a long time. Remember, they were happy to make horrible jokes about Catherine and spreading all of these conspiracy theories about Catherine when she was actually secretly receiving cancer treatment. They were very happy to do that, but Harry and Meghan were always considered untouchable. Not anymore. What does that mean?
You've seen a shift, really. I think it was the creators of South Park that pulled the pin out of the grenade, as it were, because everything that happened in that show, that episode, I've watched it a couple of times myself, was accurate. It wasn't like they were being unnecessarily cruel about the couple. Every funny bit in that just seemed to be reality of the way that those two have behaved, the way that they continue to behave. So if South Park can do it, well, that was it. All bets are off. And gradually, more and more people have started going, you can't really take them seriously. They lie about an awful lot of things. Their humanitarianism is something to be laughed at. They collect awards for themselves and pat themselves on the back. So what's left really, other than ripping the couple to shreds over the fact that they are just a walking, talking comedy show? If you're not getting angry about them over some of the things, most people just generally laugh at them. It's part of the fascination with Harry and Meghan. It's not so much of, oh, what are they going to say next? You know, what boat are they going to rock? Because nobody really believes them anymore. They've lost all of their credibility through various different things, individually and together as a couple. So now everybody just takes the mickey out of them because it's so easy to do. They write the script to their own comedy show every week.
So embarrassing, though, isn't it? So embarrassing. Okay, Tash, new book from Tom Quinn claims that Prince Harry's friends are blaming Meghan Markle for making him too woke. But you had an interesting take on this, Tash. You said it wasn't about being woke. It was about creating friction between Harry and all of his friends and family. It made it easier to isolate the fool. Explain, Tash.
When the rumours first started and people were beginning to talk inside the inner sanctum of royal circles, and they were saying that Meghan came to a dinner party with Harry and she didn't like the fact that she wasn't meant to be sat next to her husband. This is actually quite normal. This is so people don't stick in their own little bubbles and they actually socialise with other people. She didn't like that. She didn't like the jokes. She didn't like the way that Harry went drinking with his friends. So she nipped that in the bud. And at the time it was all, oh, she's just looking out for him. She's trying to make sure that he's healthy. She knows that drinking and smoking isn't good for him. Meghan's getting Harry into yoga. Meghan's making better decisions for Harry. And all it was, when you look at it, she was isolating him one by one from everybody that he loved, everything that he loved. And then he was just completely dependent on her. And it's that whole thing. I don't know if this is true, but I remember someone saying to me, if you put a frog in hot water, it'll jump straight out. But if you put a frog in cold water and turn it up, it will slowly sit there till it boils to death. Now, I'm not sure that's actually true, but it's something that you can see as truthful with Harry. If you could see Harry now, and you gradually and you hadn't watched everything over the last few years, I mean, it's really shocking. Sometimes when I'm editing videos and I'm looking at photographs of when it was Harry, Catherine, or Harry and Cressida, and Harry mucking around on royal engagements and things, and then I look at him now, and he is a shadow of his former self. She has stripped everything away from him, and people are like, oh, well, she changed him for the better. It doesn't look like she changed him for the better. He's literally lost everything, and he doesn't look happy for it at all. He doesn't look well a lot of the time either.
Yeah, very good point. It's not a happy situation
No.
at all. And neither, Tash, by the way, is the fallout that has come quite rightly from these shocking redactions on Prince Harry's immigration records, which I believe are evidence of a real cover-up of his drug use.
Me too.
Now, the Heritage Foundation and their lead lawyer, Samuel Dewey, has come out fighting in the Daily Mail, saying that Prince Harry hates America and should just leave now. And by the way, the Heritage Foundation are not giving up. They are saying this fight for documents absolutely goes on. But our friend at the Royal News Network, Brittany, the editor there, had a different take on this, Tash. She said, well, it doesn't matter. He's stuck here now. She's obviously in America. Meghan would sooner divorce him than move back to the UK or anywhere else in the world. So he either gives up seeing his children or he's here for at least the next 15 years or so. Maybe he should have listened to his family, friends before jumping into marriage. Maybe they were just trying to help. And do you agree that Harry doesn't really have an option because otherwise he will just be separated from his children? And that was actually always the biggest risk about him moving to America.
I think it was definitely part of the bigger plan for Meghan to have the children in America for those very reasons. Because if Harry did ever decide to jump ship, he's going to, obviously, he's not going to want to leave them. And whilst I don't like to speculate, obviously, to do with the children or anything, it has put him between a rock and a hard place, because if he is miserable and he wants to leave, he's now faced with the decision which affects many couples when they choose to separate. How will he actually be able to jet set around the world and see his kids? But to be honest with you, even though that they are still together at the moment, Harry doesn't seem to have a problem jet setting. He's often seen away going to various events in different countries without them. So I'm not really sure how it will play out at this point. It's obviously very speculative. But when it comes to the visa redactions, it was almost pointless them actually releasing those to the media, because you couldn't see anything. But the few bits that you did see, I do agree with you. It does seem like that there seems to be a hint of an actual larger cover-up, and the Heritage Foundation are not going to stop asking the questions. They said that it wasn't in the public's best interests, but I think it is very much in the public's best interest. If Harry is on a super duper top notch, the 1% sort of visa that anybody can get, it possibly means that Harry is also entitled to other things, such as, I would say, security, police protection, that maybe had not been, they've not been honest about to the American public.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.